G'day everyone and welcome to Live with Obsessed, and tonight for your drinking pleasure, well, not so much, we can watch Govs drink. I've got Michael Govs McGovern, who's one of the founders of Black Hops Brewery, which is like an amazing, I'm only a little bit biased here, brewery on the Gold Coast. Govs, thanks for joining us tonight.
Awesome, thanks for having me on, Annette. I'm really excited.
That's okay, my absolute pleasure. I was the really cool thing about doing this show is that I actually get to satisfy my own curiosity, and Black Hops too is my local, so it was like, oh, I love this beer. I want to find out a little bit more about how it came into being for my personal satisfaction.
Awesome, we can cover that. That's no dramas. I've got no problem with that.
Excellent. Well, so you're in this business with two mates, and you've been around for quite a few years now. What's it like to work with your best buddies?
Pretty damn good. But I figure I might kick this off with a little sound to get soundbite to get everyone in the mood. So I don't know if my microphone's going to pick this up, but this is just. So yeah, it's pretty cool getting to work. Jeez, Ned, I'm sorry, don't have one to share with me.
Thanks for that, Gov. It's nice.
No worries. What is it like to work with your mates? It's awesome. It's good to be able to work with people and to be able to kind of understand each other on a higher level outside of just work. How they think and what they react to, and what pushes their buttons, and how to keep everyone on the same team.
So when you started Black Hops, were you guys already brewing beer together, and you kind of went, this might be a good idea, taking it to, more people?
I guess it did happen like that, but it happened instantly. So it was the first time we brewed together was the original eggnog stout, which was under the banner of Black Hops, which at the time was a project in our garage.
Yeah, that's a mighty fine drop too. I had a growler of that yesterday.
Yeah,
I must say it goes really well with salt and vinegar chips.
That's good stuff.
Hey, maybe we could do that, a Black Hops pairing with junk food.
Oh, I do it every day.
Nice work. So is that saying true, a beer a day keeps the doctor away?
Oh, I definitely would support something like that. I think being a brewer, it's definitely I'm a bit biased, but I think beer's kind of stood the test of time. Has been with us for a very long time throughout civilization. I think a little bit of it's good for you.
Now the craft brewing industry in Australia is just gone crazy. All of a sudden, it just seems almost everywhere you turn, there's a new craft beer. Why do you think that is? What is it about Australians and beer?
Well, obviously there's a relationship there. Australians and beer kind of go well together. But I think for the reason that craft beer has been exploding so much in the past 5 to 10 years, more so concentrated in, say, let's say the last 3 or 4, it's kind of been, I think, a bit more of a cultural shift in terms of people becoming a bit more conscious of where their food and drinks and products that they buy come from, and people really connecting with local suppliers and local producers. So we're seeing these local breweries pop up in every city and town in the country, as well as local butchers, local bakers. And we're kind of going back to a less globalized supply chain, and people are, happy to spend a little bit more to support a local business and potentially, get a more premium product.
And it definitely does taste a lot nicer than your mainstream type of brews. I find I'm really curious, like I said, I go down to Black Hops a lot, and there's always different concoctions being brewed up. And, I was down there yesterday and there was a Beetlejuice and a lemon, lime and bitter flavoured beer. How do you come up with these wonderful ideas and make them work so well?
Well, I think that's just the fun part about being a brewer and creating beers for people. It's, we never run out of places to draw inspiration from, whether it's just, the thousands of ideas that are flashing off in my mind, or it's the people within our team that we do a lot of internal collaborating in terms of ideas and concepts. We have a very open workplace in terms of people very comfortably, sharing their ideas and coming up with concepts, and we'll brew them. And it's a lot of fun for everyone to be part of that process. We'll also look at what's happening outside of Black Hops and trends in the market. But generally, we kind of brew what the beers that we'd like to drink, and hopefully engage with people who also like to drink them as well.
Yeah, I like that idea. So when you start, how long has Black Hops been around?
We're just about to celebrate our 4th birthday here in Burleigh. I'm at the tap room at the moment. The Black Hops journey kind of started about almost 6 years ago now, but there was a lot of home brewing and gypsy brewing and getting off the grounds there.
So 4 years, happy birthday.
Thank you.
Is there going to be a celebratory beer flavour coming out for your birthday?
Oh, absolutely. And being our 4th birthday, I think we'd have to do more than one for our birthday this year. So we've got a few surprises lined up, and looking to really celebrate this milestone and have a lot of fun with our local community that's supported us, since day one. Yeah,
so I've noticed there's been a few breweries that have closed down throughout coronavirus, and I think I even read today, was it Cooper's had to throw out 13,000 kegs of beer because they had nowhere to go. Is this something that we're going to see more of from the craft brewing industry because of the impact of coronavirus?
Yeah, sure. I mean, I wouldn't want to speculate what's going to happen, but we definitely can see what's happening around us and also what's happened to us. It's definitely been a really difficult time for the craft beer community, as well as many other industries as well. I don't think there's many industries that weren't affected by COVID-19. So unfortunately, we are going to see some businesses really struggle to survive this. Even now it might feel like we're starting to get on the way out. There's already been a lot of damage done. And it's great that there's a lot of support coming through from the government, but yeah, it's going to be really tough for, I think, some brewers to survive. And, we weren't immune to that at all. We threw out plenty of kegs ourselves, and we really had to bust our asses to kind of survive.
It's really sad because, you're not big business, you're small business. Like you said, you're part of the community, and this has got nothing to do with beer, but business in general. Do you have any thoughts on how we can better support each other? So, you're down at Burleigh, there's such a great little area down there for small business and really funky places. For people who are out there going, okay, I want to help. What's your suggestion for how we can dig in and get through this together?
Sure. I mean, we definitely feel like that has already happened, particularly for us in our community. We spent 5 years building a community around our brand, and when all of this started to happen, it became so apparent how important having that community and having those supporters around us. Also, we're not really asking people for a handout. We're just trying our best to create products and beers that people want to continue to buy, keep people excited about craft beer, and keep them coming back in and buying our products.
So what's your favourite beer? I know you just cracked a Hornet there, but do you have one that finds its way into the fridge all the time?
Yeah, well, I mean, over 6 years, I think we've brewed probably close to 300 different beers by now. And it's really hard to have favourites, but I definitely have seasonal favourites. In winter, I like our darker, stronger beers. In summer, I tend to float towards lighter, easier drinking. But if I was to have to choose a favourite, it probably would be Hornet. It's just a beer that I just love and really enjoy drinking all year round.
300. I feel like I've missed out, Govs.
Yeah, well, it's been a wild few years. It's one of the things that we love doing. We love bringing out new beers, and it's providing this variety of choice for our customers in our tap rooms that keeps people coming back.
Now, I've got friends who I will say, come down to the Goldie, there's heaps of great craft breweries, let's go have a few drinks. And they go, oh, I don't like beer. And I'm like, not sure we can be friends anymore. But maybe. Do you have beers that are even liked by non-beer drinkers?
Yeah, I mean, when we brewed over 200 different beers, and we have 14 different beers available at any one time at our tap rooms, we try to make sure that there's something there for everyone. So where you may not like all 14, you should be able to find something there that'll suit your taste buds and your palate, and also your level of experience into the craft beer world, should I say. So yeah, we definitely try to offer a few things for people who may initially, say, I don't drink beer or I don't like beer, and we try and offer them something that might be very different to what they think beer is, and try and bridge that gap and introduce them to the wonderful world of craft beer.
And I know that your ginger cider is particularly nice. The
ginger cider is definitely one. Obviously, we also want to offer something for non-beer drinkers. We're not trying to convert everyone. It's okay if you don't like beer. We're not going to kick you out the door. So we try and have something on offer for them. So we have our ginger cider. We also just brought in a alcoholic seltzer, which is like a alcoholic sparkling water. But in terms of beers, we do have some different fruited beers and some sour beers that are kind of a little bit more reminiscent of a wine than a beer, and usually help bridge that gap for people who are a little bit reluctant to try.
Yeah, cool. We'll just twist their arms slightly.
Yeah.
So, I didn't come to beer till quite late in life. My first beer was a 4X Gold, and yes, I'm still alive. Thank you for asking. I don't know how I coped, but what I've discovered in exploring beers is there's just so many damn different types of beer. Have they always been around, or is it that I've just been a complete ignoramus when it comes to beer?
I'd say that they haven't always been around. It is new to the market. There's certainly, they may have existed in some formats somewhere throughout history, and all of a sudden us craft brewers are pulling out all the old recipes we can dig out of the history books. So yeah, it can be a little bit overwhelming to keep up with all the latest styles, and but I think that's almost the exciting part of it as well. That even after this long, we're still coming up with new and exciting beers.
Now there's a few like awards out there that where beers get ranked. Is it really as hotly contested as what it looks like?
In terms of winning the awards, or
winning the awards, like is it important to get your beer up there in the top 10?
Look, it's important if it's important to you. I mean, having awards in business, I think, is only a good thing. But you've also got to look at is that translating to success? Are you making money? Are you selling your product? Are you selling your beer? In the beer world, we kind of look at the awards from a technical perspective. It's great to receive recognition for brewing true to style styles. And that definitely helps our sales team. It just doesn't make it any harder, but you can be winning awards for styles of beer that people just aren't popular styles. So it is a good thing, but yeah, you wouldn't want to get too obsessed about winning awards, I think.
Because I guess the whole reason is to make a good beer, isn't it? And that's why you're in business.
Yes.
So working with two mates, I know you said that it's really good, but is there ever a time where you come to blows over what you're going to do next, or what's going to make it to the tap room?
Oh, of course. I mean, you don't go into business for this long with people and not have a disagreement. I think it's ridiculous to think that you could, and it's almost dangerous. I think one of the most powerful things that we've ever had for us is that there are three of us, and we've always been able to respect that. And when you have three, you have a tiebreaker. You have a third person, and usually it's two versus one on any big decision making time. So like we will very passionately plead our case, but when you're the odd one out, you've just kind of got to suck it up and move on, because we've now realised that a big decision today is just holding up the next big decision tomorrow. So you've got to keep those wheels turning, and it's better to make a decision and act on it than get stuck on it and disagree and argue. There's no issue. We've made plenty of right decisions and wrong decisions, and no one really takes credit for it. We all believe in it as a team effort.
Do you ever get to people who kind of like look at you and think, oh my God, you guys are so lucky that you've created this amazing brand? Because, I mean, like, you guys do social media well, you're really good at promoting, and you make great beers. And I was thinking about Melanie Griffiths, who's just been, announced as like Australia's first female billionaire. And so many people have gone, oh my God, she's so lucky. Look at her overnight success. Do you ever get any of that from people looking from the outside in?
I don't personally. I'm sure people do think like that, and it is easy to look at projects and businesses as being overnight successes, but 99% of the time it's an incredibly long road to success. Some people are lucky and just kind of jag it, but generally it's hard work and a lot of failures leading up to it.
Oh, yeah. Oh, those knees get scraped a fair few times, don't they, when you're in small business?
In this business.
Yeah, absolutely. Was beer always something that you've liked?
Absolutely, yeah. It's a bit of a cliche, but I loved beer as a young man growing up. I had my own little obsession with craft beer, or what was called boutique beer back in the day. I never really considered it to be a career choice. It wasn't something that they offered up at high school. You could be a brewer one day. So for me, I was just happy for it to be an expensive little hobby on the side.
Yeah, so if someone was looking at getting started into having their own little brew at home, what's a few tips that you could give them to get them on the right track?
Yeah, sure. I mean, if you want to get into brewing, home brewing is one of those hobbies that it generally takes a lot of passion and dedication to want to get into it. So generally people who start home brewing are really focused on learning as much as they can about brewing. People generally pick up all of the basics quite quickly. I think, you never stop being a student of brewing. You're always learning about new styles and new science behind it. But the one thing I'd probably say is if there's joining a local homebrew club is really valuable, because if you're mad into home brewing, all you want to talk about is home brewing. So at the very least, you'll have a nice little social outlet to discuss all your recipes and your processes, and they have little mini competitions, and you really can develop as a brewer.
Oh, that'd be good. We should probably do that to find out why our last ginger beer was so terrible. It was really good for watering the plants. It's kind of, my husband cracked it open and it was like, oh my God, that's like vinegar.
Oh yeah.
What did you do? It's just mental. So what's next for Black Hops? Like, what have you got? Any big plans coming up? We won't tell anybody. It's just between you and I.
Of course. Yeah, we've never been really good at keeping secrets either. We've always got something on. It's like, this is our 4th year in operation, and we've been able to accomplish so much in that time. And I don't think any of us like to be stagnant for too long. When we pursue a new project and we complete it, we're immediately looking at what's next, what's on the horizon. And that's just not about staying, relevant in the industry. It's just, I think, in our nature. We're just always looking for something a project to have. And, we love doing it. So coming up for Black Hops this year has been really, obviously, difficult. Our focus for the past 4 months has just been survival. And it feels like we're starting to see the light at the end of that tunnel. So we are proceeding with our plans pre-COVID, and that is to open a new venue here on the Gold Coast, which will be a barrel room and tasting room, focused purely on barrel-aged beers and sour beers.
Ooh, I'll be looking for an invitation to that, I think.
Sure. So it probably won't be open until later in the year, but we've already built the barrel room. We've got barrels there and full of beer bubbling away. So we're doing renovations in the tap room side of things, and we'll mostly just be waiting for the beer to be ready.
Well, and that's what it all comes down to, is it waiting for the beer to be ready. I just had someone go, sour beers, woohoo. I know when I tasted my first, it was like, sour beer, that's a bit strange, but they're absolutely yummy. Like,
yeah,
is that a fairly new invention?
It's a relatively new style that's made an emergence. Sour beers are becoming very popular, and there is a myriad of different iterations of a sour beer. You can have some really mouth-puckering, funky, wild beers, but you can also have some really nice, light, tart yet refreshing, fruited styles that I think really suit, the Queensland summer climate. It's just a really refreshing drink to have.
I particularly like them. I had was the watermelon one.
Watermelon goza, yeah.
Yeah, that's really nice. I quite like that. I said tonight, you know what? If you don't feed me food anymore, I'm just going to drink beer and wine. And I went, actually, that sounds wrong. It sounds like I've got a problem. Govs, thanks so much for taking the time tonight to hang out with me and to share your love for beer, and for me to share my love of beer with our audience. And we really look forward to the tap room and the barrel room opening here on the Gold Coast. I'm so glad that I live here, and keep in touch and stay friends with Obsessed With, and we'll send people your way.
Awesome. Thank you. Appreciate it.
Cheers. Thanks, Govs.
Cheers. Thanks, guys.